Good morning. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. Happy New Year. Happy 2020. It's incredible that here we are at the start of the year. We're on day 6 of 2020. And today we're going to talk about writing your intentions for this next year. So I'm going to wait for a couple of you to join us. And I have so much to share. Oh my gosh, so much to share. But I really want to just prepare everyone for this quick process that we're going to go through and tell you, if you're coming on and you're joining us, get your paper, your pen, your notebook, your journal, your whatever. Hey Sarah, good morning. And just, whatever way you use to document how you are going to ask for what you want in 2020. Sarah, I see that you're on, so I'm just going to give you some love because I know journaling is not a big comfort place for you. So maybe for you, just take some notes, it doesn't have to be this big formal journaling process. Take a few notes and then ask verbally. That's another way that we can do it too, is that you don't always have to write. You can also just speak out what it is that you're bringing in. So we have friends. Hello, Leslie. Hey, Lorna. Good morning. Yay, Diane. Mwah. Good morning to all of you. All right, so are you ready to set your intentions for 2020? As you probably saw in my email, I hope you don't do the resolutions thing. I kind of feel like if you're our people, you're in our community and our family, like you've let go of resolutions for some time now, right? Because for me, that whole resolutions thing is just a total setup for pressure. Not even gonna say failure, just pressure. Debbie! Oh my gosh, Debbie, I manifested you being here because I'm going to show my board and talk about that, which we made together in 2018 in your home with your family and friends. So I'm so grateful you're here. Hey, Angie, Barbara, Tanya. Mwah. Good morning. Morning. All right, so let's talk about intentions. The year 2020 and what are your intentions? And specifically this morning, I want to inspire you to ask big. Ask largely. I sit here before you this morning and I want you to look at me as your living example of proof that by asking, just by asking, without inhibitions, by asking and asking big and being bold and courageous enough to ask, that your desires manifest. And I'm going to share with you from my way of asking specifically for 2019 and the incredible things that happened, right? So here's the thing. I started this process in December of 2018. I happened to be in the UK with some friends and we got together and we did what's called a manifested board. So this is one of the things that I do. We've been doing one for money at the different workshops all over the States and in Jamaica recently. But the year before we did one for your life, right? So this is the one for your life. It's a manifested board and this is my board for 2019. So I sat down with these incredible group of women and I decided I'm just gonna ask for what I want. And the thing that I might be maybe a little bit more experienced than most of you is that when I go to ask, there is no judgment, no criticism, I don't even think about how, to tell you the truth. What I spend the most time doing is asking myself selfishly, Tasha, what do you want? What do you really want? And then I trust that as I get what I want, everyone else in my life, my kids, my friends, my clients, my parents, whatever, as I get what I want, it contributes to what they want in their lives from me, right? And basically at the end of the day, the happier I am because I'm living my dream and living the things that I want in my life, that's the biggest contribution that I can make into the lives of everybody else that's around me, right? So sometimes I think people are hesitant to ask because you think, you start thinking about, if I get that, how is it going to impact my parents or my kids? Or, I would love to move away and live someplace I don't know, some distant land on an island somewhere, and that really is my dream. But now, when I think about how that's going to impact the people that need me around to take care of them, then it starts me worrying about, if I get what I want, how is it going to have an impact on everybody else, right? So I apologize, but there's all these messages coming through. As I'm trying to do this live, there's like a ton of messages, and it's a little distracting. I got to figure out how to turn off notifications. All right, so let's get back to you. One of the things that I realize is that as we go through life, and I've been saying this a lot lately, so I want you guys to maybe type this out so I know that you got it. As you go through life, here's the thing. Either you are going to take responsibility and create your life, or life is going to get created for you. Right? So can you guys type that just so I know you received and you heard it? Either I create my life, or life gets created for me. I really need you, like a stepping stones before we get into this writing intentions. I really need you guys to be certain that you understand why you need to do this, why you need to set intentions, why you need to declare what it is that you want this year, why you need to ask from a place of complete, it is totally 100% okay for me to ask for everything that I want, trusting the process that everybody else gets what they want. Right? So I love it. Madonna says, I create my life, or life gets created for me. That's the reason why you want to take responsibility for this power that you have, so that you get what you want from life, instead of life just giving you a whole bunch of some things you want, some things you don't want, and you are no longer in control. So I met well, I'm gonna blush, but yesterday, for those of you that are interested in following, yesterday I had coffee with a beautiful man, an amazing man. And one of the conversations that we were talking about, as he's sharing with me, like, this year he's doing some sailing, and then his 2-year plan is to sail all around the Caribbean, just going from island to island, and then he might go over to France and dock someplace and go around to the countryside. And I'm sitting there in awe, listening to this conversation, and I said to him, I know exactly why I met you. Might have been that it was for a date, but I know exactly why we met today. And here is what I realized, that there's still some things, as I'm teaching this and thinking I'm asking largely, I'm sitting in front of this guy who's talking about 2 years just sailing and living the dream and going to wherever he wants to go, living in different islands all over the Caribbean. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I've never even thought that was possible, right? And so I said to him, I was like, the reason you showed up today and we're in this conversation is you are giving me inspiration to ask largely, to ask and be really clear about what else is possible for me beyond where I am right now. And he said, he's like, Tasha, that's really true, because I just have recently realized that I could ask for anything I want. And one of the things he asked for was this year to work 2 weeks someplace and then take 3 weeks off to go sailing. And for the profession that he's in, he's like, that's unheard of. Nobody ever gets to do that. But he said he sat down and he was like, what would really work for me? What would be really amazing for me to have in my life? And once he answered that question, he was like, it would be great if I could just work 2 weeks and travel 3 weeks and just be on that cycle. He said the moment he asked, opportunities that in his industry do not exist for this to happen started coming in like flood work, just coming in from out of every direction because he asked. And I thought that was really cool, because this is what I knew was on my heart to talk about today. And as I had this conversation with him, it just inspired me to say to me and to say to you, as we go into this process of writing your intention, my goodness, dream big, ask. This is beyond dreaming. It's not dreaming and so wishy-washy, right? Ask, straight up ask for what you want. No inhibition. Tanisha says, island hopping lifestyle. Yes, girl. All right, so I want you to think about, there is one of my favorite verses from the Bible that says, you have not because you ask not. And I also want to talk about the science of getting rich and give you a little bit of foundation before I guide you through writing your intentions. Like, this is something you need to hear and understand and also believe before you go into asking. So it says, the universe desires you to have everything you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind that this is true. So before we go into writing our intentions, like, this is foundation rules, the rules of the game before we go, right? The universe desires for you to have everything that you want to have. And remember that other little verse, you have not because you ask not. The universe is literally sitting there waiting to give you what you want, but are you asking? The universe desires for you to have everything you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is naturally for you. Make up your mind that this is true. So I believe that. I don't just read it. I don't just teach it. I live it. I believe it. I bring it to the bank. I am going to ask for what I want, and universe is anxiously waiting to give it to me. So I'm no more special than anybody else. I tell you what, the difference might just be that I believe that a little bit more than where you might be right now. And so that is what you want to be really holding on to before we go writing our intentions, is you believing that. So because I believe stuff like that, I ask, right? And this is my board, Debbie, hopefully you're still on and watching. This is my board that I did with Debbie and friends last year. And as of December, we got to December, and there was literally only one thing that was left that hadn't manifested, right? One thing. Of course, it was the relationship. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got every single thing on my board, and where's this relationship? And I finally just said to myself, I'm in complete surrender. All I need at this point is evidence. All I need is a little evidence that it is on its way. And I tell you what, come December 31st, I had a lot of evidence, an abundance of evidence. And we are now 6 days into January. So yes, this has happened 6 days beyond 2019, but I am 1,000% certain that my one last thing will manifest, is manifesting as we speak. And I want to share that with you to inspire you. First of all, at the manifesting event, at the end of the month, I'm going to guide you to do this board, not just for 2020, but for the entire decade. For the next 10 years of your life, I'm going to show you how to do this process. For the VIPs, this is one of the things that we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to create a board like this for your life for the next decade, not just for 2020, but for the next decade. So you have a North Star and a roadmap of what you want to manifest. So that was my way of asking largely. Today, I'm going to ask you now, let us go through what you're going to ask for. We're going to ask in 4 categories. All right? So I want you to come from the space of the universe wants to give you everything you want. No second guessing this, no holding back, no worrying about anybody else. Honestly, give yourself 5 minutes to be selfish. Do not think about how this will impact anybody else in your life. Instead, trust that you getting what you want will also mean everyone else is going to get what they want. All right? Come from that place. Have complete faith about that. So in the area of number 1, relationship or relationships for 2020, what do you really want? What is it that you really want in your life? In the area of relationships, what would you be willing to be bold and courageous enough, no inhibitions, to just ask for right now in this moment? So in the area of relationships, in the area, and this could be a romantic relationship. Maybe you're already in a marriage or in a relationship and you want to see some new things occur there. For me, when I think of relationships, it's that. It's also It's also business relationships, right? I want to create some powerful alliances and partnerships and different opportunities where we can both expand and help serve each other. So for me, relationships is not always just a romantic relationship. I think of my relationship with my kids, with my parents, with my friends. When I look at that area in my life, what am I being willing to ask for? Diane and I have this little thing. Diane is my Course in Miracles expert, and she talks about a holy relationship, right? And aspiring towards all your relationships being holy. And what that looks like is in your relationships, there are no expectations. There's just complete love, complete acceptance. I just think, oh my gosh, if I can achieve that in 2020 and beyond, if I can get to the place where I'm just in such peace and joy and acceptance in all my relationships, how beautiful will that be? Because that's a big part of your life, is interacting with other people. So can you imagine a relationship or your relationships being holy relationships? That's my big intention in my relationship sector of my life, is that all my relationships are holy. Jackie says deep relationships, friendships, partnerships, more loving relationships. Like, you could literally under relationships just write more love, and that's it. Like, all my relationships, I want to feel love. And this applies to business relationships. I have so many loving business relationships. It blows my mind. But I have that because I ask for it. I have it because I ask for it. All right. So number 2, we're going to talk about, Camille says greater intimacy. I love it. More love. Yes. More love. So powerful, Diane, Corey says. All right. So now let's talk about your wealth. In the area of wealth in 2020, no inhibitions. No, lay it all aside and just ask. In the area of wealth, what are you willing to ask for in 2020? And as you go to write these intentions, by the way, one of the things I forgot to say, as you go to write these intentions, I want you to write them out or speak them out as completed, right? So when I do my board or when I journal, this is for me, it is complete, it's done. I already have created this in my life, because the universe has just been anxiously waiting for me to just say and express what I want. The moment I say and express it as done, it's done, right? So in the area of wealth, what is it that you want to bring in, have, and experience in 2020? How do you want your money to flow? How do you want it to feel? How much do you want to have? I'll tell you what, for me, in my wealth area this year, I put this heart. It's made of money. And for me, when I look at that and what I wrote about was, I wanted, exactly, Nance, I wanted money. I wanted to have a love, like a deeper loving relationship with money. Like, not this love-hate thing, not this worrying about it. I just wanted it to feel the way I feel in a loving relationship with a man. That is the way I wanted to feel about my wealth. And so to indicate that, I put this little heart, right? And obviously I put Oprah there too, because for me, it's so funny. You guys are typing right before I say it. Like, for me, Oprah embodies massive passive wealth. She has so many streams of income. She's doing work that she loves. Like, when I think of how I want money to flow in my life, she embodies the example and the model for me, right? So that's wealth. Now let's move on to, in the area of health in 2020. It's funny, I went to the gym this morning and there were all these new faces, and I go, here we go with the resolutions, right? So in 2020, in the area of health, not what do you want to do. So not I want to go to the gym more, I want to, exercise more, I want to eat better, but how do you want to be? So in the area of health, how do you want to be in your health? And I want you to think about your intentions. Yes, Tanisha says, write it in the past tense. And here's Tanisha has a great example for wealth. I broke the millionaire mark in 2020. I am so gassed. Hooray. I love it. Thanks, Tanisha. That's awesome. I broke the millionaire mark in 2020. I'm so gassed. Hooray. Write it in the past tense. It has happened. It is done. All right. So in the area of health, what are you asking for? Do not worry about what it's going to take. Like for me, at the start of 2019, one of my things, if you look at my health, this is my health area. You see this lady just sitting here on the chair, and here she is. Here's a lady doing yoga. And I didn't, like, for me, this is the way I wanted to feel about my health. Like, it wasn't this massive struggle to lose weight. I didn't put some girl here at the gym with muscles. I was like, I just wanted to be easy and relaxed, to be in my body, to love it. I want to do more yoga. I want to achieve the body I want to have in an easy and peaceful feeling way. And so if you see, there's not like a number or an amount, or it was more for me, how do I want to be about being healthy? And so that's what I described, and then these are the images that reflected that for me. So for you in health, what does that look like for you? And I manifested the thing that I wanted. It's so crazy because literally I said, I wanted to get down to a certain number, and by Christmas, before I left for Jamaica, and before I left, I was a few pounds above the number. And I was just like, are you kidding me? How did that happen? How in the world did that happen? By the way, big shout out to Mr. Terran Sinclair joining us from Mandeville, Jamaica. Mwah! I'm so honored that you're joining us this morning, Mr. Sinclair. All right, so the last one is spiritual connections. Your spirituality and your spiritual connection, your spiritual connection. So in 2020, what's the next level for you? What do you want to experience? What do you want to feel in your spirituality? Like me, this is the place in my life of all the other things where it all begins. I know when I have a strong spiritual foundation, when I am confident in my assuredness about the universe working for me, God being on my side, all my angels standing around waiting to create whatever I ask, when that is strong, life is sweet. And so for me, when I look to write my intentions for the year, I spend probably the most time talking about my spirituality, my spiritual growth, my spiritual relationship with the universal principles, my applications of them. So for you, we all know kind of where we are and what's next. It could be like Sarah, who I know is watching. Sarah's big thing in 2020 is around belief, like really believing that this process works, and it works in all areas of your life, and it's working all the time. That comes under spirituality, right? That's needing to have more faith. So Jackie says, so thankful for all my angels reminding me. Yeah, oh my gosh, Jackie, had an amazing day yesterday with my angels. There were numbers everywhere, pennies everywhere, just signs everywhere. And I absolutely love being that connected. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to figure this life out on my own. I don't want to have to do it on my own. I don't. I feel like there's so many things available to us that can make it easier, but you have to ask for access in the spiritual realm to help you have these experiences. And that could just be praying to God, right? God is with me and all is well. I love that, Tanisha. It really is. It's like, if you're not asking, if you believe in God, right? If you're not asking God to help you make things easier, then you're still trying to do it on your own. If you're not saying, I want access to your power and your strength, I pray that every day, every single day. I'm like, God, take Tasha away and just you do your thing with your power and your might. Because you know what? It's really cool when you rock my world and you do things for me. So think about that for your spirituality. All right, spirituality is peaceful and loving, and I know it's perfect. I'm connected to my God. I love that, Nads. All right, so guys, that's it. Your intentions for 2020 in the areas of relationships, wealth, spirituality, and health. I'm just going to ask you, if you've been watching, sit on a couple more minutes and really take some time to become a little bit selfish. Yes, I'm encouraging you to be selfish, to ask for what you really want. A peer of mine and a great friend sent me a message after last week's live when we did the word of the year, and just described the challenges that she was experiencing in her life and how the word of the year conversation that we had was really helpful for her. And my advice to her was, listen, go beyond the word of the year, and what I see for you is you are not willing to ask for what you want, and you are putting your clients first, your family first, your everybody else first. Right? And now you're in this place where you're struggling and suffering and challenged and it's difficult. Meanwhile, I promise you, if you flipped it around and asked for what you truly wanted, without thoughts of anybody else, and you were willing to trust that as you got what you wanted, everybody else also would, life would be, all of this that you're experiencing would completely change. Right? So I share that message with her, and I'll share it with you. Just a reminder, go ask selfishly and ask big. Because the things that I put on here, let me just tell you, and you're just looking at images, but the stuff behind this and the big things that I asked for and that I got every single thing on here, to me, is such a powerful reminder of what it's like when we live in our power. And I just want you to know, guys, if you are not asking, that's on you. If you are not asking big, if you are not creating your life this morning, creating 2020, then that's on you, right? As long as you can be okay with that, then that's good. But if you're like me and you want an amazing, crazy, fun year, then let's go do this. Go write your year. So again, the manifesting event, those of you that are VIPs, we're going to be doing this process. I'm going to show you my special little thing about how I do this. It's not just sticking pictures on here. Take you through our process to create this so that you have your visual of what you're calling in for the next decade. Not just 2020, but the next 10 years of your life. Think about how powerful that will be. All right, so come on over to the manifesting event January 31st to February 2nd. It's going to be here in Stewart, and the website is themanifestingevent.com. We just opened back up our early bird special, so make sure you go take advantage of that and get your tickets as soon as you possibly can. Make sure you're there, and especially if you want to do this process, make sure you get your VIP tickets. All right, mwah! I love you guys. Happy New Year. Go have an amazing 2020, and let's create and rock this decade. Have a great day. Have a great Monday. Bye, everyone.